Welcome back. What is this, MMA calculator?
I think it did Attic MMA.
Oh, MMA Attic. Get in our attic.
Welcome back. This is our prediction video for PFL Week 5. Quick note, we have a lot of events coming up this week, so we are only going to cover the fights that we have placed wagers on. The rest of our predictions for this event can be found on X, or leave us a comment below if you have a specific fight you want to see. The first fight of the night already provided us with a betting opportunity. Julian Ruiz versus Brian Zerker is a featherweight battle between two undefeated fighters. Zerker has twice as many professional fights as Ruiz and has 4 fights in the PFL, where Ruiz has yet to see action in a major promotion. Julian is a plus 425 underdog at the books, but the model sees value in a bet. Even though we lose a majority of these big underdog bets, we are very profitable by only winning 3 out of 10 of these types of bets. Our next fight between Andrew Sanchez and Carl Albrechtsen takes place at light heavyweight. These two men have very similar records with 14 wins apiece. Sanchez suffering 7 losses, while Albrechtsen only has 5. Andrew was a former UFC middleweight where he fought some very notable competition. Unfortunately, of his last 8 fights in the promotion, he suffered 5 losses, all by KO TKO. After moving on from the UFC, he moved up to light heavyweight and became much less active, but he has banked 2 decision wins in the last 2 years. Carl has also seen a drop in activity recently, only competing 3 times in the last 2 years after having as many fights in 2021 alone. 2 of those 3 bouts resulted in a loss, one by submission and the other by split decision. Both of these guys have shown they can win a fight by any method. The model believes this fight to be very close and is giving the underdog Sanchez only the slightest of edge. That's enough value for us to make a wager. Skipping ahead a few fights to Gadzi Rabadanov versus Elvin Espinoza at lightweight. Of Espinoza's 5 fights in the PFL, this is the first time that he is coming in as an underdog. He is currently 8-0 as a professional and has not lost since 2016, where he dropped 2 decisions as an amateur. Rabnadov, on the other hand, is riding a 7-fight win streak, 6 of which are by unanimous decision. Gadzi is a Russian trained in combat sambo, so we can expect that he will be looking for takedowns against the cage. With the number of decision wins on his record, we can assume that he will look mostly to control from top position. Elvin will need to have good takedown defense and do his best to keep the fight in the center of the cage. He does have 4 submissions on his record, all by rear naked choke. So if his sweeps are good, he may have a chance to secure the back during a scramble. The model has given us a strong indication that Espinosa has more than a fleeting chance in this fight, so we placed our bet. In the very next fight, we have 16-8-2 Sadabu C versus 18-5 Tom Breeze at light heavyweight. Both of them are listed at 6'3", but C has a large reach advantage of 6.5 inches. He is also nearly 5 years older, but at 37, he likely still has some life left in the division. Speaking of which, he only has a single fight at light heavyweight, having moved all the way up from welterweight less than a year ago. We haven't seen much of him at this division, as his one fight was stopped early in the first after his thumb was injured during a takedown. Breeze is also new to the light heavyweight division, moving up from middleweight in July of last year. He has gone 2-1 since then, with 2 submission finishes. The books have Breeze as a slight underdog, while the model is giving him a pretty substantial chance of winning. If he is able to get this fight to the mat and away from size power, we have a real chance of cashing this bet. The last fight on the prelims offers us one more opportunity to make some money. Brent Primus will be facing off against Solomon Renfro. Primus will be coming into this fight at 39 years old, 12 years older than his opponent. With this, he also brings 7 additional years as a professional, but they both have 16 professional fights. Both fighters have gone 3-2 in their last 5 fights, with Brent's loss to Usman Nurmagomedov being overturned to a no contest. Solomon made the move down to lightweight earlier this year and is attempting to make a comeback after 2 decision losses in a row. The model believes strongly that it will happen. Maybe the Silva de Andrade loss last week is causing age to be weighted more heavily, or maybe some other factors are involved. Either way, we have placed a bet on Renfro. We move right along to the first fight on the main card, Antonio Carlos Jr. versus Alex Polizzi. This fight is taking place at light heavyweight, and Antonio is coming in on a 5-fight win streak. He has not lost since his departure from the UFC in 2021. He will be 2 inches taller and have a 7-inch reach advantage. Polizzi, on the other hand, has lost his last 3, with 2 of them being by TKO. Fortunately for him, Antonio has never stopped a fight by KO TKO. Carlos Jr. does have 12 submission wins on his record, with 4 of those coming in his recent win streak. Countering that, we have Alex, who has never been subbed in his professional career and does have 5 submission wins of his own. For some reason, the model does believe that despite the recent win streak of Shoeface, Polizzi does have a reasonable chance of winning. Because of that, we have laid a wager, and we will hope for the best. Jumping ahead to Patricky Pitbull versus Bruno Miranda, which is a very close fight at the books. Both of these fighters are currently suffering a 2-fight skid and looking to get back in the win column. Pitbull is the much more seasoned fighter with 38 professional fights and a place on the Bellator roster that dates back to 2011. Bruno only has 21 professional bouts and fought in the regional promotions until his move to PFL in 2022. He had a great start with 3 wins, totaling a 7-fight win streak. That is until he faced Olivier Aubin Mercier and Brent Primus at the top of the division and was stopped in both fights. Both of these men are fighting to keep their names amongst the best lightweights in PFL. The books are giving the edge to Miranda, and the model agrees. We have a bet on the favorite in this one, which, so far, has served us well. That was the last fight that showed any value for us on this card, so let's see what our totals look like. For this card, we placed 7 total wagers, 6 on underdogs, and 1 favorite. Our total risk for PFL 5 is 7.3 units, with a potential upside of 14.75 units. Thank you for watching, and best of luck with your bets this weekend. Don't forget to check out Twitter or our YouTube community post if you'd like to see the numbers for the rest of the card. Subscribe to the channel and keep an eye out. We have videos for UFC and Bellator Champion Series coming out, so you can have betting opportunities for both of those cards this week as well.